All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV for the season finale of the Area 51 Dark Horse Area 51 IndyCar Series here tonight at Phoenix Raceway. Scheduled distance will be 125 laps. Will be our race distance tonight. So it's a bit of a shorter field here tonight. Currently showing about 12 drivers here. Say last week over at Twin Wing Motegi. So say a little nervous. Maybe a couple drivers still stuck in customs. So hopefully everybody's okay. But it's going to be a short field, which I think is going to be a benefit for Nick DeGroot and Andrew Wood. So it's going to make things a little harder for Craig Forsyth to try to make that big comeback in the final race here from that third spot. So I'll have to wait and see. But of course, qualifying, the all-important thing here at Phoenix. I'll say very, very fast track here, and say especially with these Indy cars, going to be going very quickly here. And say we'll pull up those points standings here real quick before we get too far ahead. As right now it is a 4-point difference between Nick DeGroot and Andrew Wood. Right now Nick with that 4-point advantage, and then Craig Forsyth in third, 44 points out of lead. So right now, unfortunately, like I said, probably a 2-horse race for the title. So we'll have to see again after those 125 laps who is going to be our season champion. Will it be Nick DeGroot or Andrew Wood? So Chris, welcome back. I say we're at your home track here, my home track actually as well, our local track, I guess you could say. And yeah, I mean, these things are watching practice. These things are pretty wild here at Phoenix, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see how these drivers can kind of wrangle this track tonight.
Yeah, it's great to be back, especially when it comes to the old home track, the local track for us. But for a close battle like this, 4 points, every position is going to count. Every little decision-making process is going to matter. And even if you do have less drivers or more drivers, like these guys definitely are going to probably bite off a little more than they can chew. It's honestly more risk-reward than I think they've had all season. And this track is fast. It's loose. If anyone ever watched us the Cup races here, this is going to be a completely different experience.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is obviously one of the claim to fame for Phoenix is that dog leg out of the start finish line where, like I said, kind of in NASCAR, everybody just cuts straight left, shortcuts it as much as they can. That's not going to be the case tonight. That's not going to be an option for those drivers, so they're going to have to keep it above the yellow. One, just based on the rules, and two, because you don't want to go down there. It's not going to end well for you if you run that apron. Again, these cars do not like that transition one bit. We'll probably see some drivers use it during qualifying just to try to shorten that track, pick up some qualifying speed. So, but yeah, right now we've got about 2 minutes left in qualifying, and right now let's say we'll wait and see, of course, to see where everything lines up. But the main things to mention, of course, with the Indy Series is will be 125 laps on the dot. No green white checkered attempts here, so they'll be going to that number. And of course, the one faster pair should they need it, that could become crucial for tonight as well. And then the fuel mileage here tonight, Chris, it sounds like it's going to be right on the edge of a 2-stop race here in that 125 lap race here tonight. So probably if these guys can try to get to about lap 42 and then 84, that should be about the magic number then to get them to 126 for the finish. So it's going to be a little of a balancing act to see how hard you run versus trying to make sure you keep that fuel number under wraps as well. So yeah, so let's say we do have one of our championship contenders. He's put his lap in. We're waiting for Nick DeGroot to put his lap down, and we'll be able to kind of compare and see where they are in relation to one another here. But we still got some time to go on that one. So do want to thank everybody that has been watching and supporting us all season long. Again, this is our championship week. Crowned a champion last night over in the Next Gen Series, who won the championship by 1 point. And third place was only 3 points out of the lead as well. So, and that's just, it's amazing what these guys are able to do week in and week out. And say we're again 4 points the difference here tonight between the top two. And then, of course, we'll be back on Thursday night for the Super Speedway Trucks finale, and then wrapping it all up on Sunday night for the Super Speedway Xfinity Series Championship. So, yeah, a lot to play for here. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. Definitely want to thank you all for joining, supporting us. And yeah, Chris, we're just about here, and we're going to have a storyline to kick things off here once everybody finishes up the gridding here.
Yeah, championship week in any series, in any sport, always feels very ceremonious or you know, there's a lot of merit to what you guys been doing over the season whenever you've been running, whether you've been broadcasting or whether you've been actually in the racing, whether you've had a good season or a bad season. When it comes to that last race of the season, you just want to just be there. It's just fun to be there. You hope that you don't have any bad wrecks or anything like that. So shout outs to all these guys. Shout out to you viewers. It's great to have you guys here. And Gael, I've only been here a couple of times, but definitely like being part of this one for the last one.
Yeah, it's fun to do, and I say, yeah, definitely appreciate you being on board here as well, Chris. And here's the storyline though for us right now, Chris. Andrew Wood, again, 4 points out coming into tonight. Make that now 3 points out as he gets pole position over Jim Brooks in that 51. You got Craig Forsyth there in third. But I will say we'll get to our championship leader coming tonight. But again, you're going to have to go a fair bit ways down the page here. So right now you see there Jeff Hysong in fourth. Luis Gonzalez Nunez, last week's winner at Twin Ring, or no, sorry. I'm sorry. I know. I can't remember if he won or if it was podium. I say the jet lag still kicking in maybe here. But then you got William Gunn, Ryan Steinhoff, Eric Peterson, Yari Brupacher, Joseph Grijalva, and then our championship leader Nick DeGroot, 11th position here. Joseph Morales in 12th. So Nick's gonna be starting second to last here, Chris, while the 64 Andrew Wood's gonna be starting from the pole position. So Nick's got pretty much nowhere to go but forward here. But again, a very tough track to pass that, so he's going to have to really kind of pick and choose his moves here very cautiously over the course of this race. So we're going to kind of have to be probably keeping one eye up front and then one eye on the 89 and see what he's able to do over the course of this race.
Yeah, it's going to be a very difficult race. This track doesn't offer a lot of room now that you can't take the dog leg. I mean, you probably could. Like I said, it's more risk and reward. By the time you take it, you're already kind of offline anyhow, and this track definitely invites a lot of creativity when it comes to how you're lapping it. So no two laps are going to be the same. You're going to have people finding different ways to get around this track. And it seems like right before you come to the start-finish line, I'm seeing a lot of people get a little loose, get a little bent out of shape. And that's going to play big dividends for Nick DeGroot if he can decide to navigate these guys, very cleanly, very nicely. But at the same time, we're going to need Andrew to set the pace, and I'm very excited to see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be very fun to see how it goes. It looks like actually 11 drivers rolled off here. Eric Peterson actually still not on track, so maybe starting from the pits, or unfortunately maybe something going wrong where he wasn't able to take part in tonight. But here we go, Chris, and say again, here's the first opening rule here. The big reconfiguration of this track, let's say, kind of changes where you can restart these cars, start and restart them. So they're going to be going all the way down here through now NASCAR 3 and 4, which used to be NASCAR, or I should say 3 and 4, which used to be 1 and 2. Let's say, so then they wait for that green flag to fly, and there it goes. We are down and away. But right in the middle of the turn, so you got to be careful for tire spin. And it looks like right off the bat, though, that 64 gets a great start. It's Craig Forsyth going to challenge for that second spot on Jim Brooks. We'll see who's able to hold that second position, as right now that 64 is going to try to sneak away here as they come down back to the backstretch already.
Jim getting a good run off the corner, being on the high side here. That might be the preferred line here. I know these guys aren't going to have a lot of drafting help, which you having to get into the corners as soon as possible, and the air wash. But looks like Jim's going to use that outside and try to test the waters early and try to get the lead.
Yeah, he's definitely, you can see he's going to be running a separate groove as best he can from that 64. Again, that, like I said, that aero wash is going to play a big role. So I think turn 4, they have to be very careful. It's just a really quick turn there. And of course, as they come through 1 and 2 here, it's a very fast turn, but very sweeping, a lot flatter on the turn there, banking wise. So, but right now though, Jim's doing a really good job. He's hanging on tight to that 64 car here of Andrew Wood, and I'm saying to me that's pretty impressive. He just flirts with the wall there on the exit of 4, but keeps it off of it. But again, we talked about we're gonna be watching this throughout the course of this race. Nick DeGroot, he is up 3 spots. He's worked his way up into the 8th position, right behind Joseph Grijalva there in that 47 car. As you can see, he's going to take a look. Nope, not quite. He's going to actually jump to the top side here. Let's say Nick's going to have to, like I said, he's going to have to be very calculated here, and again, just has to make no mistakes, because bonus points, Chris, could really come into play here, because he can get a bonus point for having the most positions gained. As right now he's actually tied for it with that number 47 car. As he's going to take a look entering 3 here. But right now, again, Joseph able to hold on to that spot. So the big one to me, though, Chris, incident-free race. If you can do that, I believe it's 3 bonus points. So I think Nick's, again, he's got to be kind of careful about that as well, because you don't want to lose those bonus points, because if Andrew can keep his car clean, that's going to completely change the complexion. But right now, let's say up front, Andrew's been able to just hold about a steady 0.2 of a second lead over Jim, over Craig there. Pretty much our top 6 running lockstep from where they qualified, and then you get to those big movers of Joseph Grijalva and Nick DeGroot. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And again, the other thing here is these laps click off very, very quickly here, Chris. I mean, we're already starting lap number 8 now. These guys are putting down sub 20-second laps here.
Yeah, it's going to be very quick. And just watching how Nick's been running, this is actually a good lesson for him to figure out, hey, do I need a dive bomb when I take the inside on, say, this corner coming up, like he's looking at it right now? And if he doesn't make this pass, he has to kind of figure this out right now for later in the race. He might have the same situation come up for him. So right now, this might be hard and frustrating for him, but this is going to be a good lesson for him to figure out how his car is going to work and what adjustments he needs to make to get a good run, because he seems to have a good run down the backstretch here.
Yeah, no, it's no surprise. We know he's going to have speed, but yeah, just either a miscue in qualifying or what, but unfortunately cost him to start towards the back in that 11th position. Do also need to mention Eric Peterson is on track. He's about a straightaway ahead of the leaders here, but lap time wise, he's running pretty quick as well. So I don't think he's in too big of a risk here. But to me, the question, actually, we got to go up front because we actually had a change for the lead here. Jim Brooks around that 64 for Andrew Wood. So we have a new leader here. So let's actually go back. We'll take a look at that pass for the lead here. As you can see, Jim gets a good run out of turn number 2, ducks down low. And I think, again, Andrew Wood, he's going to play a little bit more cautious here. So put that number 51 to the front there. And again, though, this is where we're going to jump back live here. But again, this is where drivers are going to have to be careful. You got to kind of set the pace. We talked about the fuel numbers. Going to be right on the edge of possibly making it on a 2-stop race. So you can't get too aggressive on that fuel number right now. We're going to jump back, though, because Nick and Joseph continue to just fight tooth and nail here. Nick actually now able to complete the pass on the top side there. So it shows you the outside momentum. Maybe something we talked about, learning kind of what you can do, what doesn't work. And Nick making moves. So move now Nick up into 7th +4 from his starting spot. Now setting the sights on William Gunn.
Yeah, even going back to Andrew Wood, as we were looking at Nick right now, he actually gave up the spot for 2nd place, and now he's kind of riding in 3rd. I think he is trying to save, or at worst, he's having a little bit of an issue with his driving handling. So these guys are going to get close to each other, and I think hopefully we don't see any sparks fly, but I think the closer that these guys get to racing each other, it might be a little bit more risk that we see during the race.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. And these guys, I mean, they know the points coming into it. They know the 4-point difference coming in. And saying realistically, it actually kind of goes back to 4 points right now, Chris, because yes, Andrew got the pole, but right now Nick our highest climber, so that would kind of even the odds there with Nick getting a bonus point for that one. So it's kind of just like I said, right now it's ebb and flow. So then you kind of go based on the points, and so you get Andrew right now sitting in 3rd, and you got Nick in 7th, and so I would say based on the points, most likely it would be Andrew at the moment ahead. It just really depends on kind of the point difference between positions here, but I also am noticing Nick being pretty easy on the gears. See, kind of just living in 6th gear there through 3 and 4. We'll watch what he does here in 1 and 2, but I have a feeling that he is running these long gears here. Again, keep making sure he keeps that fuel number in check right now. So it's kind of settled in a little bit for the moment. I'd say that being said, though, he's got to be careful not to make any bobbles, because if he does, Joseph's going to be after him immediately. But yeah, right now everybody's staggered about that 2, 3, 4 tenths of a second pretty much with one another here. With now Jim Brooks leading the way over Craig Forsyth, who we do need to mention has gotten also around that 64 of Andrew Wood.
Yeah, Jim leading the pack right now, and these guys are still kind of underneath the blanket. Jim's kind of in clean air. He can kind of dictate the race as it goes. I think if Craig wants to attack, he has the ability, but I don't think Jim wants to give this up anytime soon.
Yeah, so this is kind of between that rock and a hard place situation for some of these drivers. You of course, I mean, you want to be up front. You want that clean air. I'm sure that feels really good right now to be in that clean air. Although that being said, though, these guys doing a pretty good job of holding pretty tight quarters with one another. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where Jim's gonna have to now balance, like, hey, I want to lead, but I also now need to make sure I gotta make sure I'm not pushing too hard. I don't know if what map these guys are running. Of course, Chris, they can choose map 1 to map 5. That's pretty much the typical oval map fuel maps there for these cars, where 1's full rich, 5 is kind of full race setting lean, and of course then they can go under yellow to map 8, which really reduces the power but saves a lot of fuel. So that's the question right now, is what map are these drivers running to get that fuel numbers? Because again, with these guys running sub 20-second laps here, the first driver that has to pit is going to be at a big deficit over the rest of the field, because then you're just kind of just grinning and bearing if or not you're going to get caught by a yellow, possibly trapped a lap or more down, just due to the outright pace of these cars here.
Yeah, you said sub 20-second laps. That's absolutely fast. Just being here in the track in real life and watching the NASCAR guys go at it, and I think they run about 30-second, maybe 32-second laps, and the fact that you can see these guys run, 10, 12 seconds faster is absolutely amazing. I kind of wish that I could see these, real life IndyCar get back on this track. Very different nowadays. The layout's the same. You just have the open dog leg, but I would love to see, real life comparisons now that it's been a little bit of time.
Yes, I mean, you can see the speeds of the turns. I mean, they're going in the 190s down to about 180s. I mean, that's significantly faster than we see on the stock car side of things. So I mean, that just shows the outright pace of these cars, and I'm saying that's why it's so treacherous as well, where everything's happening so fast. And I mean, we've basically got a train right now. I mean, you've got first to 11th position right now. We're only 3.5 seconds apart here, Chris. So everybody's very evenly matched, and I think also everybody knows kind of what's in store here. They're like, okay, we got to play these field numbers right here. But here comes Andrew Wood, though. He got a good run out of turn number 4. He's going to take it low on Craig here. We'll see, can Craig fight off on the outside? We've seen the outside gets good momentum. He's also going to have some draft from Jim. Yep, there he goes. He's going to actually stay in that second spot. And while we were watching that, though, Nick DeGroot continuing his charge here, Chris. He's now worked his way up to 7th. Got around the 14 Red Bull machine of William Gunn. So 5 spots now for Nick DeGroot again. And that's what he's going to have to do. He's just going to have to keep setting his sights on that 64 machine of Andrew Wood. I think right now Nick's just kind of got to ignore everybody else, and that's the only person he races, whether it's for the win or whether it's for, let's say, 5th place or something along those lines. And, of course, knowing these two, it's probably going to be for a top 3 result, just the pace these guys have week in and week out. So Nick's just got to kind of keep it cool. This is probably the hardest part of the race for him, is just having to try to pick his way through the field to try to get that track position sooner than later.
Yeah, he definitely has to think about it kind of like a candle, where it's just a slow burn. He just needs to take everything kind of one lap at a time, one pace at a time. But looking at the guys up front, we just saw a little bit of a battle for second place. The more these guys battle each other, you see them side by side, it's going to help the people in front of them and the people behind them just catch up, because you lose so much time. We talked about 20-second lap times. If you go, and battle for a spot, and you guys are doing that for 2 or 3 laps, you're going to be about 4 or 5 seconds slower per lap. So these guys got to watch out, and if you're going to make a move, you really got to commit and try to get it.
Yeah, exactly right. And the thing too is, again, we talked about the strategy and the fuel mileage and all of that. As you see here, again, here goes Andrew. He's going to take a look. This time actually able to get alongside, but again, the momentum is going to come back to Craig's favor. And then also he gets a bit of a draft off of Jim. But what that's done, though, look at Luis Gonzalez Nunez, our defending race winner from last week's race at Twin Ring Motegi. Okay, kind of just like last week, he's been right there in the thick of these things. And look at these guys move. You saw almost in the wall there in 1 and 2. These guys are trying to find any and every position for clean air right now with these cars. And I'm saying that you see that, I mean, it cost Luis about probably 3 car lengths at least. So he's going to have to try to build that back up, because now he's under attack from that 18 of Jeff Heisong.
So many different lines of attack at this track, and that's why I love the creativity about it. There's not one bad line that you can take. It's just, honestly, just if you believe in the car and the car believes in you, you can almost do anything that you want with this car. Luis done very well this season from the times I've been watching him, and for him to be still in this battle, I think he's going to catch back up in a couple of laps, because it seems like everyone's getting a little bit unruly here. They want to start making some passes, get some good drafts. So we'll see here in a couple of seconds, if he can catch back up to the pack.
Yeah, so I look at lap times. Everybody's, again, I mean, right now I see the lap ranges from about 1968 to about 1948. So pretty much 2/10 for the whole field right now. And yeah, I mean, it's close everywhere. Obviously, we've been focusing on Andrew and Craig right now for that second position. A little further back, you've got Ryan Steinhoff. He's been putting Jari Brupacher under a ton of pressure here, just inside the top 10 right now. Again, though, say what I'm going to be watching for here, Chris, is in about 6 more laps. That's the magic window. I think that's when these guys are going to have to start. If they can get to 42, that's kind of my magic number to make this on a 2-stop race. So we talked about Jim. He's starting to break away a little bit here. He's got about a half a second on Craig. This is where if I'm Jim here and you see that margin, you got to say, hey, you know what? if I'm not meeting my number, I can back it down. I'm going to maybe bump my fuel map down to like a map 3 or map 5 where I can basically bring them right back to me here. As you see it again, Andrew's going to take a look here through 3 and 4, but still, again, just can't quite get there. But yeah, so Jim's got to kind of manage right now his pace here, because let's say again, leading is great, but you don't have that clean air, you don't have the draft to pull you, or sorry, you have the clean air, you don't have the draft to pull you around a little extra. So he's just got to make sure that he's running his fuel numbers. And we talked a little bit pre-race, and we were kind of discussing that, how close it is on the fuel number. So we're getting right to about that number here, Chris, because next time by, this is going to be lap number 40.
Yeah, and with such a weird backstretch or just a turn radius for these cars, they're going to have to definitely call out and announce if they're going to be pitting or not. And when they do, it's going to be a very, very tight turn. So these guys might have to pull off way earlier than you kind of expect. As we see him go for another pass, he might make it this time. He looks like he got a nose out in front. But yeah, we're getting ready to hit this fuel window. And we can see Jim Brooks up front kind of drinking his Arizona tea, just chilling out.
Yeah, so he's probably enjoying things right now, but it's one of those things where while this is all going, it's like, man, I wish this was on lap 41. I wish it was like lap 123 or something like that, where you're in this position. But yeah, it looks like job done though for these guys, because you're right here. We're going to come across the line, Chris. This is going to be lap 42 for these drivers. So looks like pretty much committed to a 2-stop race for all the drivers here. And I think that's the strategy I think you have to take. Now I think that from here, the rest is just kind of gravy, how much further you can take these cars. So the question is, yep, here comes Jim's going to come in as soon as he got that window, and that may have been a forced move where he has to come in. Look at here comes the field here. Woo! Aggressive pit entries. Look at Luis Gonzalez actually going to jump around that number 51 onto pit road. So we could see some lead changes here happen during the pit stop cycle. So while they hit pit road, there you see Craig Forsyth, he's on pit road. Here come our championship contenders now, Chris. 1-2, Andrew Wood leading. Actually, as I said, Nick DeGroot's on pit road. So right now it's Andrew and Yari, the ones that are stretching this field the furthest here. But again, right now it looks like everybody should be able to make it on a 2-stop strategy. And yep, here comes Andrew Wood as well.
Yeah, I've never seen a pass in the pits before, so I don't know who he's got a penalty for that. But if he didn't, like good on him. And as these guys are in the pits, the next lap before they even get to their pit box, the next group is. So if you're able to stretch it out, you can almost catch up to the guys if they definitely had a little bit of a bad pit stop on the first group. So we just see Luis and Jim just come out. These guys are still get ready to get to their pit box. So if you can stretch out your fuel, you can almost overlap the whole field again.
Yeah, so Luis did jump Jim in the pits. However, it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be the pass. Well, actually, no, this might be the pass for lead, because here comes Craig Forsyth. Luis is going to clear Craig, and here comes Jim Brooks. Now he's going to try to use that momentum to his advantage and try to jump. I believe he's jumped the 89 there of Nick DeGroot, but look at how much time Nick has gained through all of this here, as now he's going to try to get back underneath Craig here again. We've seen that short run. Then here comes that 64 of Andrew Wood, going to come right 3 wide there for a split second. Jim's going back after here, trying to clear Craig, and he's going to get that position, so Jim's going to jump back to second here. But we talked about enjoying that clean air being up front. Luis Gonzalez now up by a second in that number 15 machine. Again, last week's winner now. But now you got Jim kind of leading the trail behind him here. But our championship battle here, look at this. Here's the big swing. Andrew Wood, Nick DeGroot. It's now Andrew that's behind Nick DeGroot on the track. And actually, Andrew's still trying to build up pace, I think, in that car. Again, pitting, trying to get that tire temps back in the car. Oh, we got trouble in the backstretch here. No yellow yet here, but the 47 and the 74 are both in trouble. And yep, there's the caution. Caution is out, unfortunately, for Joseph Grijalva. I think Ryan Steinhoff also was involved in that one. And as you see the field all going to swing on by here. And unfortunately for Joseph, going to have to take a tow there. And so, yeah, this is going to shake up the field a little bit. I don't think we'll see a lot of pit stops, but let's first go back and see what happened here, because it was definitely some action going on right around these guys. Ryan Steinhoff, Yari Brupacher and company. As you see, there's the 47. He ducks low. I think this actually might be a lap ahead, so let's pick up the pace here, and we'll kind of go around another lap here.
I believe Ryan actually came loose off the corner coming out of 2. And there was just nowhere for him to go.
Oh, yep, there's, you see it stepping out of turn 2, and then you'll see coming onto the scene pretty quickly. There's Joseph Grijalva. He's going to try to cut left to cut underneath, then second guesses himself, and just that second guessing, just unfortunately. Heavy contact. Look at Yari. Oh, I think Yari Brubacher also gets a piece as well there. So it actually might be 3 cars involved in this one. But we're going to jump back live because I think we have some strategy going on here, Chris, because, yeah, Jim Brooks, he's actually on pit road here. I believe just getting service to that car. I've said a little surprised to see him on pit road because he was in second place. So opting to try to do maybe a little bit of different strategy here. So that's going to change our running order yet again a little bit here as we had the 51, the 60, the 14, the 49, the 18, and the 74 all on pit road. And unfortunately, Joseph Garalva having to take a tow there. So a little surprised to see Jim pit road like that because, I mean, he's only going to gain just a couple of laps here under caution. Maybe about, I'd say maybe he could go probably another 4 or 5 laps maybe than these guys. But he's going to go from second now back to about 6th position. But the beneficiary to me, though, of this caution, Eric Peterson. Remember, we talked about him missing the grid. He was still holding on the lead lap. He was running good lap times. He is now all the way up into that 5th position here as he stayed out. He's going to gain a ton of track position. So definitely a good opportunity for Eric to gain a bunch of track position. And then again, talk about our championship competitors. Now here they are, 3rd and 4th, right in lockstep with one another.
It is amazing how the last 5 laps have changed this whole race around. And before we had the caution, we saw Luis basically overtake Jim in the pits, and seeing how the guys that came in first definitely decided to stay out, and they got their laps back. Luis basically went from, I think, 5th or 6th all the way up to 1st just in that pit stop. And Jim didn't have a bad pit stop by any means. He definitely had a good safe entry and he would have been 1st, but to see how Luis overtook him in the pits and for him to have like that same 2 or 3 or 4 car gap right after the pits if it were to go green, that was almost a race changing moment right there.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really changed kind of the complexion for Luis. Like you said, he was sitting just a couple cars back, not in a bad position by any means, but yeah, I think about the 4th position, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, behind Jim, Craig, and Andrew. But then, yeah, the great pit entry, actually, like I said, getting around the 51 on pit road and then able to come out with the lead as well. So, yeah, did everything he needed to there. Lights are off the pace car, so we will restart this time around, Chris, which will start on lap 52. So again, right now, and the other thing is this caution does is that pretty much I think safely puts everybody into that fuel window to make it to the end, and probably with minimal saving, I would think as well. And that might be why we saw Jim Brooks come in, where maybe he said, you know what, I didn't like having to fuel save and just kind of run laps, so I want to be able to basically go as hard and as long as I can and jump the field that way. So we'll keep an eye on that green and black car, who's going to restart in the 6th position behind Eric Peterson. But again, it's going to be Luis Gonzalez that's going to bring the field back to green here. And again, say they're on this restart here, of course, he has control of this restart. However, say with the way we don't have that restart zone implemented, so basically the rules, they just need to wait till 3 and 4 here before they start to go. And that's exactly what you're seeing here, is Luis is going to lead the field back to green. And we're going to start this off with Luis and Craig, Nick DeGroot, Andrew Wood, and Eric Peterson, our top 5. And now it's all about when that 14 goes, and he is down and away. And a pretty good reaction there by Craig. So let's say now it's just all about who can kind of get those tires warmed up quickly, Chris, and get back after these guys.
Yeah, we're going to see if people want to attack or they want to defend really hard. So we're going to see if Nick has what it takes to get around Craig. And I think if Nick is able to do that, he can kind of just separate himself from Andrew and think about his choices of defending a little bit later. But right now he's getting a little bit attacked right now by Andrew. So it's going to be real interesting to see what these guys are doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think definitely very close off of turn 2 there for Andrew Wood there. But I say now at this point though, I mean, Andrew's now, he has to go on the aggressive. He needs to try to get after these guys and try to see if he can gain some spots, or I should say at least gain a spot on Nick. Because again, right now these guys are only 4 points apart coming into tonight, and so again, every point's going to matter. Andrew does have a lap led, so that's going to be in his favor. Nick hasn't led a lap yet. Actually, no, I don't think Nick's led a lap yet, if I'm mistaken. As Andrew went further than the 89 car. So right now, that kind of puts the net points difference to 3 instead of the 4 as they run. But again, I mean, that's all going to change over the course of this race. But right now, though, I'm definitely seeing the pace of this race, Chris, has completely changed. Craig Forsyth just last time around, he ran his fastest lap of the race, 19.03 seconds around this 1 mile oval. That's
absolutely blazing fast. I've I've never really done these cars in anything this tight or fast before. Like I usually you get on your auto clubs, you get on your Indy 500s and stuff like that. But a credit to these guys for being able to run so many different types of tracks, so many different types of courses. Not really have any real big blowups, big pileups or anything like that. These guys are very skilled at what they do. Big shout outs to all of these drivers for absolutely just killing it week in and week out.
Yeah, this is definitely not an easy thing to do. Everything just happens so quickly. It's just, like you said, just the reaction times are split second with these cars. So but what I am starting to see, though, unfortunately for Jim Brooks, is he's kind of got pinned behind Eric Peterson. Eric's dropped out about a second and a half off of these top four, but Jim hasn't been able to find a way around that number 36 car yet. So we talked about that pit stop, maybe not quite what he was looking for, unfortunately. I'd say the only silver lining he could potentially have, though, is depending on how much further he can go, if he can get that all-important timely yellow and maybe try to see if he can trap drivers a lap or more down during the pit stop cycle. So that's right now he is the furthest up of those that pitted under yellow, but again, he's only a couple laps ahead of those guys. So right now, though, big move for the lead there. Craig tried to make it happen, couldn't get around him. That cost Craig momentum, and here comes Nick DeGroot. He's going to try to capitalize on it into turn number 1. He will clear, so move Nick DeGroot up into second. There goes Andrew Wood. He's going to try, and he's going to have to try to follow suit. But again, that outside momentum for Craig Forsyth able to keep him up in third. So move that 89 car now up into second.
Very tight racing up front. These guys are just being tossed in a blanket. I think Craig just had a little bit of a bottle, and that's honestly all it takes. And now there's a little bit of a gap. So does Andrew get a little bit more aggressive because he feels like he really needs to get to Nick? But I'm not sure what's going to happen. It looks like Craig kind of wants the spot back. These guys are definitely going to have to make some decisions real fast in the next couple of laps here.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it was, is Craig tried to make a move to see if he could try to get around Luis to take the lead of the race. Just lost momentum, and then Nick was able to capitalize on it. Like you said, just that's how fast these things are happening here. Just the slightest mistake, and unfortunately, that's cost him a position on track. As already halfway through this thing here, Chris, starting up with 62 to go now. And yeah, right now these top three, like I said, they've kind of just stretched away. You see Eric Peterson just off in the distance there again, about that second and a half off those guys. So yeah, so we'll have to see what the kind of the fuel and the pit strategy is. But right now, I kind of lean like the short pit strategy is going to be the way to go. So I think if you're Andrew Wood, I mean, you got that decision. Do you overcut? Do you undercut? And with Andrew, he was actually, of the leaders, he pitted the lap later than the rest of the field. So he's got just a tiny bit more fuel than the rest of these guys here. He could maybe go an extra lap than these three in front of him. But I do wonder, maybe he comes in early and that allows him just to put that little bit less fuel in the car on that final stop. I say, because it does seem like that undercut is pretty effective. And you can see, actually, I think he's starting to maybe even save a little bit of fuel, either for, like I said, either for maybe planning on an overcut by a couple laps, or maybe just trying to basically, like I said, minimize how much fuel he wants to put in that car in that final stop, because the less fuel you put in, the quicker that stop's going to be.
Yeah, he definitely has a couple options here. There's nobody really behind him to attack him immediately. So if he wants to cut down his engine map and basically, kind of save some fuel and be able to drop back just a little bit, but stay in the draft, he has that option to play with, and that is actually an advantage for him to be where he's at right now in 4th place. So if he wants to sit back and kind of just save fuel and do the overcut or undercut, he can calculate that all by himself right now and kind of just judge where people are at in front of him if he wants to attack or if he wants to just sit back. As far as like where Luis is at, Luis is going to kind of have to make the decision for the rest of everybody else, because I think if he comes in, everyone else is going to come in right after.
Yeah, saying just a little bit further back, you got Jim Brooks, Jeff Heisong. They're having a spirited battle here for that 6th position. Say Jim's had it. He hasn't found a way to get around Eric Peterson. Jeff's going to try to capitalize, but can't quite do it. And here you go. Again, Jeff Heisong, he loses momentum. That opens it up for William Gunn. He's going to try to swing around on the outside here in that 14, and he's going to get it done. So right there you see that's the difference of momentum. You lose that momentum, and it's going to cost you spots, so you got to be very careful about how hard you're willing to push these things. Right now, that 51, though, it looks like he's starting to have a little bit of struggles here. Not sure, maybe had a little bit of a contact with the wall and that car just not handling right, or just maybe the dirty air from that 36 just isn't cooperating, because that car just does not seem like it's on pace like it was earlier this race.
Yeah, definitely the tale of two races right now for him. He was leading up front for a good bit of time, but now that he's in traffic, it might be a little bit harder for his car to run the way that he wants it to. But if you look at these guys right now, you got two separate groups of cars, and they're not that far away from each other. So anything can happen up front. These guys are all back, all 10, 11 drivers are right back to each other.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm saying, and again, the lap times, they're not that far off. I mean, pretty much 1941s to 19 looks like 57 is pretty much the range of our top 10 right now. So yeah, a lot of speed out of all these cars right now, and it's just yeah, kind of right now looks like kind of like track position. As you see Jeff Heisong, they're really trying to run the rim right almost there to build a lot of speed on exit though, and he's actually going to try to peek to the outside of William Gunn and just can't quite get there yet, but man, he is on that rear spoiler of that car. And again, just gonna have to try to find where to go. And here he goes. There's the two lines. You see 14, he goes low. Jeff gets a clean air, goes high, and then look at the crossover. Oh, he has to back out of it there. Just didn't want to risk catching the left rear of that 14 car. So again, the respect you see from these drivers now is definitely from what we saw there from Jeff Heisong, just making sure he wasn't going to contact that car. But you know he's going to see that opportunity again in a few laps. He's going to probably try to take it a little bit more aggressively if he can, but. Back up front, though, here goes the 64-27, and again, battling for third. Again, Craig able to keep that momentum up top here. But, Chris, we're getting down to that final pit stop window, probably the next 8 to 10 laps, I would say, because we're at 49 to go. And we talked about that fuel mileage, if they could get to at least 42. But I think we're going to see these guys again. I think these guys are going to run a little further because, again, I think the goal now is you want to go as far as you can to be able to run full rich to the end. So I think that's something we'll probably see out of these guys. Probably go a little further, probably maybe about, let's say, lap number 90, I would say roughly would probably be, I think, around when I would like to come in.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that it feels like 5 minutes ago we just dropped the green flag for the first time, but now we're at lap 78 with 125. It's almost over. Having these guys run this quick of a race and watching Craig and Andrew go at it real quick. There's a lot of strategy to still be played, and there's a lot of risk and reward. I keep saying it every single time during this race, but we don't know if the guys that pitted during that caution to get a little bit more fuel. We don't know if they have a different strategy in mind to kind of just stretch things out, or they just want a fuller tank so they can kind of short pit. So there's a lot that's going to go on in the next 8 or 10 laps. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I think the frustration probably starting to set in a little bit, though, for Andrew Wood, because he hasn't been able to get around Craig. And the problem is, it's not that he hasn't got around Craig, it's the fact that Nick and Luis have stretched out about a second over Craig here. So Andrew's going to be chomping at the bit here. He's going to have to try to find a way to get around the 64. And this is his best opportunity. There we go. He's going to slide job him out of turn number 2. That was an aggressive move, but I think that was an aggressive move that had to be made for the sake of his chances at a championship. So now that he's got the track position and that a little bit cleaner air here, let's see what kind of lap times Andrew can do in relation to those top two. Because, yeah, I mean, again, Andrew's going to have the bit between his teeth to just get back to that 89 car before we get to that pit stops here.
Yeah, and I think Craig knew. I think Craig knew what was up, and he decided he didn't want to, he didn't want to fight the aggressiveness. So he did the slide job, very textbook style slide job for these cars. But we'll see if he gets back up there, because Craig has been running a good race. We've kind of not really mentioned him that much besides when he's been battling. But Craig's been running a great race. He's been able to use that outside line to defend pretty much everybody that's tried to attack him until he's given up the spot.
Yeah, and the other thing to mention, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure Craig right now is pretty much having to run full hand controls here. As he's had some surgeries done for his legs and stuff, and he's done it before where he's run with hand controls. And I think he's having to do it again now. So I mean, for him to do what he's doing without using kind of the pedals to be finessing kind of the throttle in and out, it speaks just dividends of how committed Craig is, but then also just what he can do. And yeah, here comes Luis Gonzalez here pitting at 85. So this is with 41 to go. So it's still just on the inside of the window here. So it's tight for Luis, but I think that's showing how hard he's running. However, here's the big story though. Nick DeGroot, he leads a lap here, Chris. So that again puts the bonus points back on level playing field at 4 apiece. As I believe we got a few more drivers hitting pit road, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be 36 of Eric Peterson. He's now on pit road as well, so the window's starting to open here. So now it's, like I said, it's going to be kind of the undercut versus the overcut to see what these guys do. But Nick's got about a second to play with it. Actually, as I say, here he comes. He's going to dive onto pit road, try to get it down by the cone. Looks like he safely does so. Now Andrew Wood back to the point here. So now it's going to be all about those in and out laps and see what we can do. So right now, Andrew Wood, he's going to have to just push as hard as he can before he jumps into pits. And that's going to be the question mark, is when does he come in? Because he could go a little further here, Chris. Maybe try to trap that 89 a lap or more down here, just if you get that all magical timely yellow.
Yeah, we just saw Luis just come out. He just took his first green flag lap, his out lap. So now he's on his first flying lap right now. We'll see where he comes out. I'm not sure where Andrew's at right now. I think he's coming into the pits. Yep. So we'll see if he can unlap himself, because I think they went a lap down, to be honest with you.
Yeah, pretty much everybody that's pitted is right now sitting one down. And so now that cycles things back to the 51 of Jim Brooks. Again, he's the first that pitted under that yellow, so he can probably go another couple of laps should he choose to. That's going to be the question, is how far do you want to go here in that car? But it looks like he's actually going to come in right now in that 51, so he's going to hit pit road as well. And that's going to send it over to William Gunn in that 14. So we're kind of in the middle of that cycle. I'd say Ryan Steinhoff also still staying out. And we got a couple drivers that topped off as well in 50 with Joseph Morales and Jari Brubacher just stretching this thing as far as they can, as William Gunn now ducks onto the apron to hit pit road.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if Luis can do the undercut, so to speak, and I'm not sure. I think he's 8th place right now. The pit charts are going up and down.
Caution!
Another caution.
It looks like the 49 of Jari. Oh yeah, Jari Brubacher involved in that car is definitely hurt, as he's going to get it down onto pit road. And so here's the question now. This is in the middle of the pit stop cycle, so the question is going to be, where was everybody at the time of the yellow? Because there's going to be lucky dogs. There's going to be drivers that get the wave around. So this is going to be very interesting to see. But yeah, we'll have to go back and see what happened to Yari here.
Gael, I think both our guys. I think both our guys got in a wreck.
Andrew Wood just got involved.
So we're going to go back. We're first going to take a look at the incident here. You see Yari there. He's sliding down on the apron. And then we'll keep an eye on this 49 car because he starts to slide back up the track. And that's what we're going to have to keep an eye out for, because it sounds like we might have some championship drivers involved. And there's Nick DeGroot. Oh, actually, it looks like Nick got a piece of him as well, possibly. Oh, and a big hit for Andrew Wood. So, yeah, big hit for Andrew. The question is going to be, kind of who has what of damage after all of that's said and done. Because it could have been maybe a little bit of net code for Nick, possibly. However, what you see right here, though, Joseph Morales, he's going to lead the field onto pit road. And if I'm not mistaken, that's probably going to cycle Jim Brooks as the lucky dog driver. So he should be able to be the first car one down, get the wave around, whereas I believe everybody else is going to have to take the... actually, you know what? I think someone else has already been waved around. I think it was actually, I see the 15 of Luis Gonzalez Nunez. He's actually back on pit road, so it may have been Luis here. So whenever you get these cautions, Chris, right in the middle of pit stop cycle, it just completely kind of just jumps everything around. It's hard to try to keep track of who is where, but yeah, we're gonna have to see, because I think right now it's showing our leader as William Gunn, Ryan Steinhoff. And so I think what's actually happening here, Chris, is Jim Brooks is going to be the first of those on the tail end of the lead lap to get waved around. And then looking at the field, Andrew Wood is on pit road in that 64 machine coming out now. So he's going to be, I believe, one down, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the only car one down as they run. So unfortunately, a really bad turn of events for that 64. But I still wonder about the 89, though, of Nick DeGroot. I don't know if it was net cut or not, because, I mean, it looked like he made solid contact, but the car looks okay. So that's going to be kind of treading a fine line, whether or not that car has any kind of residual damage that he's not aware of.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he knows about it. I know he probably had a marker come up of like a 2X or a 4X or something like that. But if he wiggled his car around, he feels like it's fine for him to keep going. I don't know if he has a fast repair that he needs to take. But he still might have some damage. As far as Andrew, he was able to drive into pit lane, so he did save himself some time and a little bit of pain by able to just still drive himself around, as we see the cars kind of go around and take their wave around. This race is completely opened up to a whole new can of worms right now.
Yeah, no, this race has completely upended itself now. So now you've got Ryan Steinhoff is going to be our leader. William Gunn, our leader. Ryan Steinhoff second. Joseph Morales up into third. Luis Gonzalez in fourth. And it's going to be Jim Brooks in fifth. However, he's going to be behind the lapped car of Andrew Wood, who's been able to get his faster pair. So now it's going to be, it's all pretty much fair game here to the end here, Chris, because everybody's good to go on fuel. There's no question on that. So, it's just going to be an outright dash to the finish here for these guys. So this is going to be very interesting to see what these guys are able to do here. So I'm a little surprised that, Luis basically had a free stop, so it made sense for him to pit there. But yeah, so now William Gunn, he's going to lead this field. This is going to get very interesting, but I think if you're Nick DeGroot here, don't take too many chances, because right now you've got basically a lap advantage on that championship battle, so don't break a good thing. But we might get a spoiler here for our race winners tonight.
Yeah, and I think for Andrew, I think he has to let his race basically in other people's hands. So if I was him, I probably wouldn't be fighting everybody. I'd probably be just asking everyone to just attack themselves and hopefully put themselves in a bad situation to get another caution and get that wave around. That way he can have a good fight. But it's all going to plan right now because they are fighting like crazy.
Yeah, he's actually in the middle of it. He's going to try to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. I have a feeling he's going to try to get around these guys. So, but right now the close battles is right here. You got Luis Gonzalez, Nick DeGroot, Jim Brooks. They're all pretty much right on top of each other there. Nick just able to get around Jim for that fifth position there, that last lap. And you see the 64 there. Oh, actually, they're getting around Ryan Steinhoff right now. He's starting to drop a couple of positions here. Andrew Wood able to get by. Now these are for positions, so this moves Luis up into third. Nick's going to try to follow through for fourth, and Jim's got to be careful now because now he's kind of pinned in between these two. He's got Nick to his inside, he's got Ryan to his outside, and this is, like I said, this is where it gets very treacherous, and you got to be careful about that dirty air as well, as right now these guys are fighting just tooth and nail for every position, as now Nick almost goes three wide. Yep. Oh, Yari way down low there, able to gather back up, but again, Nick's got to be careful here. Again, you don't need to go out and win. You want to win this race, of course, but you've got so much more to lose than the rest of the field here. So your competition is a lap down in 11th. I just find yourself a safe little pocket to ride in for the moment. And if you get opportunities, take it. But until then, you just back it down a little bit. But yeah. What's happening right now, though, William Gunn is loving life, Chris. He is 1.3 seconds ahead of Joseph Morales. Andrew Wood has gotten around Joseph to try to get that lap back, like I mentioned, kind of the old-fashioned way. But right now, though, that 14 car, he's got the clean air, and he's kind of feeling like Jim Brooks was on that first run, just kind of in a nice little spot, and he's loving his strategy right now. That 14's been able to play this to perfection with that timing of the yellow.
Yeah, he just needs to stay out front. I think he's got this, a good little bit of a gap. I don't think anyone's gonna suck up to his draft besides maybe Andrew, but he's already lapped down. Andrew's just trying to lap himself. I don't think he'll really fight that off too much. But looking at the rest of these guys, they're definitely fighting tooth and nail. I'm not sure, who's the comers and who's the goers right now.
Yeah, saying Nick just can't help himself. Oh, as you see the 74 down on the apron, catches the inside wall, and that is around no yellow yet, as the field is able to get by here, so he's going to try to get
backing up off the track.
And he's going to try to roll this thing. Looks like the suspension, looks like maybe the left front has some damage, so he's going to try to limp this thing back around, though. But he's going to have to be careful because here comes the field at a full head of steam. But I believe, look like everybody got through okay. It was a close call for Nick DeGroot, and yeah, there's that 74 down low here. I think, he's going to cut the apron to be able to get it down to pit road, but a tough break for Ryan Steinhoff. Was up in a good spot, just unfortunately, just a little bit of a miscue. Just a little mistake there that costs him, but right now, though, still, I say everything looking good for William Gunn, but like I said, he's going to have some aggression here from Andrew Wood, because like I said, Andrew wants to get his lap back the old-fashioned way if he can, because if you don't have to start at the back of the field, you'd rather not. So watch for Andrew here to be very aggressive to try to get around that 14. And I think it'd probably be in the 14's best interest to just let this happen, because like I said, I don't think he's going to lose too much time. And there goes Andrew. Yeah, he's just going to sail right on by. And I think William knew what was going on there. He said, yeah, you know what? You go right on ahead, sir. So put basically Andrew on the lead lap on the tail end. But right now, like I said, still the 14 leading here over Joseph Morales in the 60. And then you got Luis Gonzalez Nunez leading that the third position, I should say, but is starting to close slowly but surely on that 60 car. So, yeah, right now it's still got pretty much everybody within a couple tenths of a second of one another.
Yeah, William Gunn. Definitely haven't seen him that much tonight. He has a beautiful Red Bull car. I believe that's a Red Bull car. Um, yeah, he has that Oracle Red Bull car. That's definitely something that we see in front. Usually on Sundays in F1. And kind of talk about paint schemes. I feel we haven't talked about that in a little bit, but these guys have been running pretty much the same paint schemes all year round. And it's always nice to see the different cars up front. You can recognize almost who the drivers based on the cars. A lot of times in iRacing, you got a lot of the old classics. You got the Red Bulls, you got the Dale Earnhardt paint schemes. But it's nice to see that Red Bull car up front right now during this race.
Yeah, saying you talk about an iconic paint scheme. They say right up in second, you got that Target paint scheme there of Joseph Morales. I say that's definitely not a car that was unfamiliar with Victory Lane, so definitely a good scheme for that number 60 of Joseph Morales to be running as well. But yeah, right now though, say he's starting to get a little bit more pressure put on him, because here comes that 15 of Luis Gonzalez Nunez. Nick DeGroot's not too far back, and like I said, Nick's gonna want to finish this thing out in style. I said if he can get a podium, he'll go for that. If he can get a win, he would go for that too. Definitely went against everything I said and just back it down and just kind of play it easy and play it cool. That's just not how Nick DeGroot got to this championship hunt here. So I mean, it makes perfect sense. But yeah, definitely going to be a bit of a gut punch right now for Andrew here. So he's going to be definitely banking on having someone make a mistake and bring out another yellow. Almost had it there with that 74. But right now, like I said, he's been able to unlap himself, but just right now doesn't have what he needs to be able to get back in contention without a yellow. So, but here we go, though. Here comes the battle, though. Luis has gotten to that 60. Question is now, how does he get around that 60 car? Does he go low? Does he go high? We've seen the outside has lots of momentum, but it looks like Luis is just going to sail it down in there. He's going to clear that 60, jump up into that runner-up spot.
Now we gotta see if Luis can catch up to William. It's going to be a very, very close battle here. I thought there would be a little bit more of a battle, and watching Nick's going to definitely want to. He's going to take as many spots as he can. I'm not sure if Nick can get all the way up to the front, but he's going to try his hardest to take as many spots as he can. He's going to do it in the style like we've already talked about. But William Gunn, I think he has us in the bag if he can just stay calm, hit his marks, and do everything right. He built his gap back out to about 1.2, 1.1 seconds, and I think he needed about a draft of 0.8, so he has about a good 3/10, 4/10 gap right now.
Yeah, now things definitely look good for that 14 Red Bull machine. And you can see though that here comes the 89 working on the 60. He's actually going to try to run the outside there. He's going to cross him over out of turn number 4. Can't quite do it yet. But man, Nick is doing again. He is going to fight, like I said, he's going to fight tooth and nail. He's going to send it into turn number 1. Saw the same thing from that number 14 car. Can't quite complete the pass, but he's going to still just quite, nope, can't quite show a nose here. But Nick's, like you said, he is definitely going to go after it, but he is leaving nothing to chance right now. He is just, like I said, I mean, he's got where he needs to be with Andrew's issues there. But yeah, Nick, I mean, again, Nick's just, he's going to race hard. It's just, that's just his personality. And so Joseph Morales is going to have his hands full for these final 10 laps. Actually, I'm sorry, final 8 laps. They just keep clicking off so fast. However, though, that gap is closing up front here, Chris. It is down to half a second. Luis put 0.3 of a second quicker that last time by. This 14 is on it right now. He is going to try to chase, or sorry, the 15 is trying to chase that 14 down. Right now, Joseph Morales, Nick DeGroot, that still holds steady as it is for the moment, but this thing is not over. Luis is going to be trying to push hard here for the back-to-back wins.
So you didn't think there was enough laps left for him to just even get near him, but he proved me wrong. This is going to be a great finish to this race right now.
Yeah, so we got a barn burner here for the lead. We still got that battle for third. Nick DeGroot still trying to find a way around that 60. Hasn't done so yet. He's still trying to find a way. He's going to send it again into turn 1 and 2. And he does clear this time, but now the 60 is going to try to cross him over. There goes the 60. He's going to go down low. Can Nick keep that momentum up top? But we're going to keep an eye on that while doing that. We're going to jump back up front now, Chris, because it is 0.2 of a second. Luis is there now. Where does he go, and what can that 14 do? Because we have 4 to go, 3 to go here at the line. Can William hold on to this lead and get the win?
We've seen a couple passes on the outside, and we've seen a couple slide jobs. So it's almost pick your poison right now for William. I didn't think he was going to have to do this, but I think the best choice for him is just to cover the outside and just hope for the slide job. Checkers or wreckers is what I'd be going for right now.
Yeah, I mean, I say it's hard to get the opportunity to win these races with some of the caliber of drivers we have here. I'm a little surprised to see Luis kind of committing to the inside like he has. I feel like you really want to run that top side, build that momentum up as we get 2 to go here. So we'll see what Luis does, and you see, yep, there goes William. He's going to kind of run middle. Luis is going to go low, tuck it down just a little bit off of turn 2. And here comes the dive down into 3, and it is as close as it has been here as we're going to take the white flag here, Chris. 1 more to go at Phoenix to finish up our season.
Here we go into the next corner. They've already cut past the dog leg. We see Luis go up. He went to the bottom this time. I think he's going to just try and get a good run off the top. He had to back out a little bit, and it looks like William Gunn's going to come away with the win, folks.
Yeah, he's got to get through 3 and 4 cleanly. No mistakes here, and out of 4, William Gunn gonna get the win here at Phoenix Raceway over Luis Gonzalez. Nick DeGroot finishes in 3rd, and he will be our season champion. But we can't take anything away from that 14, though. He is going to be an ecstatic driver here, getting the win here tonight. As I said, he used the strategy, worked the fuel mileage, and he was able to get the win here this evening. So there's definitely going to be some happy drivers. There's going to definitely be some very gutted drivers. But we're going to definitely have at least 2 very happy drivers right there in that 14. We'll probably see some at least double celebrations here from that 14 and from that 89 car of William Gunn and Nick DeGroot, our season champion. As you can see, I'm celebrating there in tandem here. So actually, for good measure, that 15 of Luis Gonzalez says, you know what, I'm gonna join the party here. So we got triple donuts going on the front stretch at start finish line. So pretty well organized by these guys here. Let's go and pull up our results before we get to those interviews, though. Chris, our race winner, as we mentioned, though, William Gunn by just under 0.3 of a second. Nick DeGroot 3rd. Joseph Morales, Jeff Heisong worked his way up into that top 5. And then Craig Forsyth, Jim Brooks, Eric Peterson, Jared Brupacker, and unfortunately we mentioned Andrew had caught up in that that incident there during the pit stop cycle, drops him down into 10th. And then Ryan Steinhoff and Joseph Grijalva are rounding out our 12 drivers that were here this evening. So we're going to go a little bit out of order here tonight, though, Chris, because we're going to kick it off with our runner-up finisher, and that is going to be, well, actually, I got to see if he's here yet, because he said he might be having to jump over and get everything ready. So we're going to jump all out of order here, because we're going to try to start off with Luis Gonzalez. Hasn't made it into our chat yet, so we're just going to go full out of order, because why not? And we're going to kick it off with William Gunn in that number 14 car. Get our race winner first, because he's going to want to talk. He's going to want to celebrate. So let's get that number 14 on in over here. And we're going to pull in our race winner in that number 14 of William Gunn in that Red Bull machine. And man, just the caution that changed the race tonight. I mean, the strategy worked out. I think you were one of those drivers that pitted under the yellow, and it seemed like you had the mindset to just basically, let's just run long on fuel till that final pit stop, and maybe it works out, and we can make something happen with that track position. I mean, just take us through the strategy. Obviously, everybody going for that 2-stop if we went green, but then you get that caution at the right time, get to the front, and then from there, not without any pressure, but you're able to set sail and grab the win here tonight.
Yeah, I basically have never run any car at this track, so this week was a learning experience. I did a bit of practice yesterday to get a feel for the line. We did some practice with Andrew earlier during the practice session. I don't know. I definitely wasn't fighting for the lead. I wasn't the fastest guy out there. It just worked out well pit stop wise. I pitted at the right time for the right caution. Unfortunately, that caution involved Andrew, who was fighting for the championship of the series. But you know, that's what happens. You win some, you lose some. I was just happy to finish, to not crash, not have any really incidents. I think I glanced the wall once, and then I was sort of focusing on my line at the end. I maybe wasn't the fastest guy on track, but I was trying to make Luis's life living hell, trying to follow me the last couple laps. And it seemed to work out. That's really all I can ask for.
William, it's nice to see that Red Bull car up at the front. Usually we see it on Sundays in F1, but it's nice to see the paint scheme up there. How was it when you got out to the front? Were you kind of just like, oh wow, where'd this come from, or did you kind of have a plan to use the strategy to your advantage? Because it seemed like everything kind of just went all out of whack after that yellow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had just entered the pit lane right as the yellow came out. And I think in the last week that happened to me, and it ruined my race. I was like, ended up being a lap down. But this time I ended up being P1. I think it came out P2 or P3, and then people in front of me pit. So it worked out for me this week. Last week it didn't work out for me. But yeah, very excited. I just, I don't have my own custom livery, so I just default to Red Bull because there's always going to be a Red Bull livery out there for any car you drive. Maybe I'll ask a friend of mine who does liveries to make one up for me.
Yeah, we definitely got to put a race win sticker on there.
Yeah. I'll take what I can get.
And yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, I mean, obviously, so that's like you obviously knew what was going on with working with Andrew tonight. But then, I mean, how do you balance kind of trying to be that supportive teammate for Andrew to going after the title? And then of course, I'd say the ups and downs of his race over the course of the race there. But then you kind of have to then kind of go back to your own race where it's like, hey man, I got the lead here. I can win this thing. I mean, how do you kind of balance like the being a nice teammate and kind of like feeling for your team, like, man, yeah, that's awful. I'm sorry that happened to you. And then going, all right, now I got to kind of put my head back down and start nailing these final laps. Cause I mean, it wasn't just like a quick restart win. I mean, you had to run up front and keep that track position there for almost a full fuel run there.
Yeah, I think I ended with 4 or 5 liters left. So that just ended up being like equivalent to like 4 laps of fuel, maybe 3 laps of fuel. If you're willing to let your engine sputter. Yeah, I mean, I've worked with Andrew, like I've not worked with him like teammate wise, but just like we've talked, we always end up in the same voice channel. We chat during the race, during practice, just get a feel for the car, what settings seems to be working, test out qualifying runs and stuff. It's gutted for him. Definitely some heartbreak there. But he was behind me a lap down the restart. I tried to build a gap up. Luckily, he caught me without pulling along Luis too quickly. And so I just let him by on the inside because he definitely had the pace on me. So you just gotta focus on your own race at that point, and not try to repass him because he's a lap down. You sort of got to run it. You win some, you lose some, and hopefully he wins more.
Yeah, I mean, I say knowing the pace of him, I mean, it's hard pressed to imagine that he's not going to be after this thing and have more opportunities over the course of the season. But definitely can't take anything away from you tonight. I mean, just an amazing job. Like I said, just made the most of a good situation. I mean, when we talk about week in and week out, that's what it takes in racing. I say you got to have the pace, you got to have the strategy, and then sometimes you got to have the luck. And tonight the strategy kind of turned into the luck for you, and you were able to kind of nail it to perfection, man. So, like I said, yeah, definitely want you to enjoy this one. But before we let you go and do that, definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for that win this evening.
I don't know. Well, I'll be at the Pocono race this weekend. Going to be a friend of mine, his bachelor party. A group of us are going to be there. So that should be a really fun time. I think it's the majority of us' first time being at a NASCAR race. Definitely at Pocono. So that should be a fun time. I don't know. Just, be good out there. Try to, I guess the Boy Scout in me says leave the world a better place than you found it. And that's all you can really ask for.
I think that's a good way of doing things. So I'm definitely on board. So yeah, you guys have a lot of fun. That's going to be a good time. I'll say we'll definitely give you a couple guys to avoid trying to catch up with that Pocono. So we know a couple friends who love going to that track as well. So we'll definitely tell you who to steer clear of. But man, yeah, go enjoy this one, and then go enjoy celebrating with your buddy there for the upcoming wedding. So congrats to him as well. So great job tonight, William. Enjoy this one. Go enjoy the weekend, and go have some fun tonight and this weekend.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I plan to have smoked brisket there. So if your friends want a sandwich, they can stop by. They can find.
Yeah, you might see me over there.
I'd say Chris is working on his tickets right now.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Great job tonight, William. Enjoy this one, man. Congrats.
Thanks for Gail and Chris.
All right, Chris, that is our racer. Like I said, we're all out of order tonight, but that's all right because it's our regular season, or it's our season finale, I should say. We're going to jump now over to that number 14 of Luis Gonzalez, who is going to be our runner-up. Won last week, gets another podium here tonight. I mean, he has been on a roll as of these last couple of races. Luis, I'm gonna think you want A, you wish this race was a little longer, and B, you wish this season was a little longer. Because man, these last couple of races, you have just been on a tear in this league. I mean, is it just kind of luck finally turning your way, or something kind of just clicked for you? Or, I mean, just take us through just how this last part of the season. I mean, because like I said, I mean, you've had 3 podiums, 1 win, run up here tonight. I mean, it's been really, really impressive.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, well, it's about the job too. So sometimes the schedule is changed every week, and now I have the opportunity to run in here, and my boss put me on Tuesdays nights, and now it's give me off on Monday and Tuesday. So I really, when I saw, I try to compete and much as I can, but it's really difficult for the schedule. But really, and now I can tell you, I feel like a regret to try to take it serious, because I come here for fun to compete with Nick, Andrew, Craig, Jeff, a couple more of the guys. But definitely next season I'm gonna take it more serious, because I was in 7, maybe I complete 7. I think I'm gonna say 6 because I was in Gateway, but I just I quit. So it's like I need to do something. So I left and I do my stuff. So in that race I came last to 4th or something like that. That race won Andrew. So maybe actually next season I'm gonna be on full time. So I don't wanna lose the thing. I hope we're gonna get the same lucky. So like last race, and maybe Kentucky was the race we supposed to won, but I didn't won. So but that's the thing. So it's just only because job schedule, and I hope next season I'm gonna be on full time. So
Yeah, Luis, great race, man. I've probably never, I can't count how many times I've probably never seen somebody pass another person driving into the pits at a full green flag stop. I don't know what you did. I still think you probably had a penalty, but I've never seen something like that. Were you scared or surprised when you finally came out and you saw how far ahead of the field that you were right before we had that yellow?
I really surprised. So I saw Jim on my side. So thinking about, I think after the pit stop in yellow flag, I thought, okay, if Jim is in my front, 100% I'm gonna agree with him, because I tried to practice to go to the track directly with the pit stop. So I put my brake bias high in 60 something to just only the brakes going on the front. So I also always say do that. Always say any that doesn't matter if the IndyCar, the DW12 or this IndyCar. I try to go to put the front brake for the same reason, to try to don't spin on my back. So when I saw Jim brake and pass to the pit stop, I say, oh my god, okay, so let's do it. And I brake in the right spot. So when I went outside, I said, oh, 1.5 or something like that. But I saw Jim going more faster. So I saw like going to 1 second in 2 laps. So, and after it's coming the yellow flag. So, but I super surprised. I really surprised for the thing. So I say, okay, I did something good. So to break in the right, and maybe I don't know. That's what I said. So it's lucky. So it's just solely lucky.
It was a really impressive pit stop, because I mean, and that's the thing is, I mean, it was a bunch of you guys that hit pit road there, and then like I said, you were able to kind of jump the position. I mean, and that got you lead after that first round of pit stops. I mean, that was big for your race. And then like I said, the caution kind of changed a lot of stuff, but But you were able to at least make the most of it to get the wave around, or sorry, get the lucky dog and kind of be the first of those that were a lap down to kind of, like I said, get a little fresher tires, and then like I said, then make the big moves to the end there. But it was just, it was really, really impressive. Like I said, tonight, and then this last half of the season, it's just been really impressive. And and I look at your stats. Like you mentioned, you're only able to run a couple of races, but in the 7 starts you've had 5 top 5s and 6 top 10. So I mean, all but one race, which I think you said you had to leave early on one of them. I mean, that's some really good numbers. And yeah, if you're a Nick DeGroot or Andrew Wood, I say if you're able to run the full season coming up here, they're gonna have to keep an eye on that car, because I say you're showing that when you're here, you're one to contend with. So it's gonna be a lot of fun to see you go after these guys and just add one more championship competitor for these guys next season.
I want to. So I put my schedule that. So I have. I'm gonna put it there. So I'm gonna write it down to running here, and I know Matt Wagner is the great guy. If make it this league, so he invited one day. I said okay, I will try. So I did one. So I'm really happy. I saw many people, many others, very high level. So here. So I want to. So I'm really happy about you said about the lucky dog. It's really another lucky episode I have in this race. So and I saw Andrew crash somebody. I said Jerry, and I don't know how to pass. I saw the Greg in front of me, and also Need the Grot hit the car, so that's why he asking me. I have my right side good. I said yes, but in my replay, I saw the car, and after the race, so I saw the car like something fell in the car, and I said maybe it's net color. So he's lucky too, but I got the lucky dog and get a fresh tire. But yeah, in this track it's really difficult to pass. Doesn't matter if you are the first or the second or the third. It's really difficult. You must wait for the mistake from the front guy, and that's what I did with I forget the name, the guy I passed, Joseph. So just I saw the opportunity, and basically I did something dive bomb, but it's not dive bomb because I wasn't on the side by side with him. But I tried to wait for William do something the same, but he didn't. So that's why I tried to. But maybe a couple more laps, but it's really difficult. So anyway, so I'm really happy with the second place. Anyway.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it was a great run. Like I said, just all around. I mean, you did everything you could do, and then made the best of a bad situation. Like I said, when you kind of got trapped on that caution, but be able to rebound, get that runner up here tonight, and like I said, and vying for the win. So, really, really great job here, Luis. So, once again, though, we got to give you the floor because I know you got people watching and sponsors, and so definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts for that runner up tonight.
Yeah, cool. First of all, I want to say congrats to Nick for the championship. He did a good job this season, so good for him. So I want to say, actually, I said sorry for Andrew for lost it. It's very unfortunate for him to find somebody on the middle. When I saw Nick the ground at the front and battle for the championship, I said, okay, this is the championship. Actually, if I very close to these guys on third position, I don't want to be involved in nothing. Just stay on the back to see what happened. So that's what I thought in my mind, because when I was first, Nitigros was second on the back me, but he didn't pass me. So I thought maybe he's like, okay, in this position I am the champion. So it's good for him. Congrats for Nick. I want to say thank you all of you guys for the amazing broadcasting, for Matt for this season. Great job. I want to say thank you for my sponsor, my boss in Racing 24/7, for Darren, for HyperX. I say thank you to ESTV too for sponsor me too, and also I want to say in Spanish for my two fans in my country. My mom and my father is watching me on TV. They put a big screen, so they have a big screen in my home in Chile, and they put in internet, YouTube, and I put the broadcasting in the big screen. So that's good for them for pass a good moment in there. So I'm gonna say in Spanish, muchas gracias por estar conmigo. Segundo lugar, no se pudo ganar, así que yo creo que, bueno, la próxima season va a ser completa, así que vamos a ver si podemos ganar algo aquí y darlo por todo. Un abrazo, un beso, los quiero mucho. I say thank you for both of you for support me, for give me for support me every Tuesday. So I send the link for my mom, and my mom watch and try to scream and be nervous at the moment. So she doesn't understand nothing English, but she's like listening my name and say, "Oh, maybe this talking about me something." So it's very so it's very happy for her to watch that thing. I said, both of you, this the second place. So next season is gonna be full time, and let's see if we can win something and get the lucky in the same row. So let's see. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, it's a great.
And also, one thing more. Sorry,
Yes.
I say thank you for my wife to get me and say, okay, do your stuff. I'm gonna wait for later for you to do something together. So for her, thank you so much for giving me the time to run in here and yeah, thank you.
Yeah, always got to thank the wife for us. They let us do a lot of fun stuff that say it's a lot of fun for us. So yeah, great job, Luis, and I loving that your parents get to watch and support you from Chile as well. It's really really cool. So yeah, definitely be fun to chat with them, and like I said, be able to kind of just like you said, kind of talk about the race and everything afterwards. So yeah, enjoy this one, man. Definitely look forward to seeing you next season. Like I said, we'll look forward to it. The other drivers are probably going to be hoping that you go back part-time because it's been a great end of the season for you. So enjoy this one, sir, and we will chat with you again soon. So congrats again on that runner-up.
Thank you so much, and hope see you next season, you two guys, and get me more big at this league because we want to more people. So I hope can be more and more competitive guys. We have at least what I said that we have 6 or 7. I hope the rest of the people and rest of the field can get more competitive and more get more like confidence with the car. The car is super easy and actually it's not easy actually, but it's like get the tricky and you can we can fight it all together at the same time. So I'm really happy. So again, thank you so much. Congrats, Nick. And congrats you guys, Matt, and to the great season. And see you in a couple months.
All right, we will see you soon, Luis. Go enjoy this, and we'll chat soon. So congrats again, sir.
Thank you.
All right, last but by no means least will be our third place finisher. However, he's not worried about that third place here tonight. Well, I mean, yeah, podium's not. You never want to. Maybe I don't say you never want to finish in the just in the third place, but Nick, this was a far from easy one for you tonight. Obviously, either opted to start towards the back, or I'm guessing qualifying didn't quite go to plan. I mean, just take us through kind of the stages of your race. I mean, it was definitely looking not good, looking better, and then of course the big turning moment, that the incident out of turn number 2, where on our screen, it looked like if you didn't make contact, you were inches from it. And unfortunately, collecting your rival there of Andrew Wood there on it. But I mean, take us through kind of the progression of your race, because there was a little bit of everything for you going on tonight.
Oh man, yeah, what a night! Holy. So this whole season, I've been kind of beating myself up because I keep making unforced errors here and there. So tonight, I'm like, we're gonna do everything right, no mistakes, no missteps. And we're going to try to finish in front of Andrew, win the championship, and we're not going to be the ones to beat ourselves. And so what do? I wreck myself in qualifying. So that definitely was not a great way to start it. And I'd be lying if I didn't say I was kind of panicking at the start there, starting in the back at Phoenix, a track that's notoriously difficult to pass. But with the setup we had here tonight, it ran more like a pack race. I mean, nobody was getting away from anybody. So that really helped me and saved me from myself. So I was able to move forward there, and the leaders really didn't go anywhere because, again, we're all bunched up. And once I got to like the front half, I'm like, okay, let's save some fuel. Let's see if we can go longer, because I know you fall off the lead lap when you pit, so you don't really want to be the first one on pit road in case there's a unlucky yellow. So kind of just bided my time. And yeah, later in the race, I'd be lying if I said I remember every moment, because there's a big blank part for me up until that final pit stop. I can't really recall everything that happened, but I know we ended up front. I was behind Luis, and then we got the lead after that final green flag pit stop. And I have Andrew. He comes up right behind me. I'm like, okay, here we go. It's gonna be him and me to the finish, as it should be. And lo and behold, Yari spins right there, right in front of us. I thought I clipped him. I felt it. It gave me a 4X, and somehow the car was okay. I think the netcode gods just decided to smile upon me for once, and unfortunately, Andrew did not make it through. He slammed right into him. He was on cold tires. There really wasn't much he could do, and from that point forward, and I should add, I wasn't sure if my car was clean. I thought I may still be damaged. I didn't know if on the restart I was just going to spin. So I put some negative weight jacker into it, stayed out, and I'm like, all right, hold your breath. Let's see if this thing feels all right. And thankfully it was okay. And I thought about coming out pit road, take the quick repair, just be safe. But after I saw Andrew pit, I'm like, even if this thing's hurt, if we stay out, we'll be a lap ahead. If we pit, it's just going to be me and him dogfighting in the middle of the field. So both of us a lap down. So do you really want that? So I'm like, yeah, I'd rather stay out even if the car's hurt. Thankfully it wasn't. And yeah, as much as I would have liked to have really gone hard for the win there, I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford the risk. There was some a lot of people up there battling for positions. You had William and Joseph both going for their first win. I think you had Ryan up there as well for a little bit. So it was a really interesting running order there at the end. So I just kind of had to bide my time, be careful. And I'll admit, I got a little greedy at the end when I came upon Joseph. I'm like, okay, maybe I can get that podium. So I was probably more aggressive than I should have been in that moment. But yeah, it all worked out. We got the championship. Would have been a lot better if we could have battled it out with Andrew to the end there. So we could have a true fight, but that's just how these things go sometimes. Sorry for him. He had a great season as well. But yeah, 2-time champion. It's awesome to be back on top here. And it was a lot of stress going into this last one for sure, with so little of a points lead.
Nick, great race, great championship, man. It was honestly, like, start to finish, only felt like a 10-minute race. Like, everything felt like a sprint. We did have the little breakups of cautions here and there, and it felt like a year to me. Yeah, and it kind of felt like, every little 10, 15 minutes there was something going on, but the race flew by so fast. But obviously you had the problems in qualifying. What was your like main concern as you were kind of trying to climb through the field, and you had the caution and you're like, do I reset? Do I need to be more aggressive? What was your main like concerns throughout the race?
Well, at first it was just passing people, making sure Andrew didn't get away. But after I realized this is going to be a pack race, I'm like, okay, I need to settle down, make sure we don't get ourselves wrecked here. We got a lot of cars close together. So, yeah, it actually changed for me towards the beginning of that race. I went from get them all as quick as you can to just settle down, chill out. We got him. He's only half a second up the road, even though you're in the middle of the pack. There's no issue. Just hang out here. And I think through that first pit stop, I was able to jump him. And then from that point on, I was just fully on defense, trying to keep him behind us.
Yeah, and then that final restart, like you said, you stay out. You say, okay, like you said, kind of, I'm going to take the lap advantage over him. I mean, you were in a dogfight with Jim, with Craig. I mean, you were in the thick of it for a good portion of that race. I mean, to the point where I was getting nervous. Like, man, I would just be sitting and riding, knowing like, hey, I'm okay. But I mean, was that just because you just never know? Like, of course, with the one drop week, you never know. Like, okay, is this drop week gonna, like, would that have changed after 9 races versus 10, things of that nature? Or was it just the further up you were, just build that just in case kind of a situation? You just want to build any and every margin you could in case of a caution that brings Andrew back to the thick of things. Because I mean, I won't lie, there were points in that run there on that final green flag run where I was getting nervous about, like, man, Nick's running a little harder than I feel like I would right now with kind of where Andrew was situated. But I mean, it worked out in the end, obviously. But I mean, how touch and go was that for you, even on that final restart?
Yeah, I really didn't want to have to battle that hard, but like you were saying there, if we had a caution, he's back on the lead lap, and he would probably have pitted, gotten fresh tires, and he would have been coming. So I'm like, I should get as many of these guys as I can, because if there's a caution, I'm not pitting, because I think then he would just stay out, and then he'd be in front of me, and who knows what would happen then. So yeah, I just wanted to have the biggest buffer between us as possible in case there was a caution, while at the same time trying not to be said caution. So yeah, we were walking a tightrope at the end of that thing, no question.
Yeah, it was definitely stressful, I'm sure, for you as much as it was for me here as well. But yeah, I mean, Chris and I were just, it was a very impressive run. I mean, obviously, like I said, it didn't quite end up as you're hoping for with the dogfight between you and Andrew there. But the mistake kind of turned into a good fortune situation as well, though, for you in the end. As you were actually all tied for the highest climber with 8 positions gained, so it kind of negated Andrew's pole as well. So kind of just a little neat tidbit on that one as well. So it's like sometimes those bad luck turn into good luck situations there. But yeah, just an awesome job tonight. Like I said, kind of working your way through the field at a very difficult track to kind of work around. And then of course all throughout the season, just be in contention here tonight as well. So definitely want to give you the floor here, Nick, for thanks and shouts for obviously the podium, but more importantly, of course, the season championship.
Yeah, well, first of all, I should congratulate William on an excellent win there. I know the cautions kind of fell his way, but he did a great job defending against Luis at the end there. He worked really hard preparing for this race, making sure he got it all down, and to come out here and win, that's really cool for him. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to see all the different winners this season. Honestly, I think we had like 7 different winners in 12 races, which is just phenomenal. And Joseph Morales, he continues to get very close to victory lane, getting top 5s more often here. And yeah, I love this series. I love all the competition, and I love seeing all the different names up front. And for one last time this season, I guess I got to thank everybody that supports me at Fast Back Motorsports. Everyone from motorsport.com, CobyMoore.com. By the way, check out CobyMoore.com on Instagram. He just photographed the Calgary Stampede, a crazy, huge event up there in Canada, and he's got all the photos. He's got all the accents. He's some really cool stuff. If you're interested in that, Canvas Shoes as well on Instagram. Check them out. They have some really cool designs, cowboy shit, Wegmans, DeGrid Automobile Hall and Detailing. Everybody else who supports us, so excited to get 2 championships. Now we're going to go try and equal Henry's record and try to get 3 in a row next season.
All right, there it is. Congrats, Nick, our season champion in that number 89. So we're going to let you go enjoy and celebrate. So congrats again, Nick, and yet look forward to seeing you, see if you can defend, like say, go for that 3-peat, because yeah, it's definitely some difficult competition with what Henry is able to do, but you definitely would be one to go after it. So enjoy this one, sir, and look forward to seeing you after the off season.
Yeah, thank you guys, always.
All right, Chris, that is our champion in that number 89 of Nick DeGroot. So he's found himself into that victory lane over in Phoenix. So say one of the fun little nifty features of iRacing is that you can actually go visit victory lane over here. So Nick was able to go find it and have some fun over there. But man, like I said, that race just flew by. I mean, it's the best way to describe that one tonight, because there was so much happening. And then, I mean, I'd say the name of the game tonight was pit stops. I mean, just getting in and off pit road that got Luis to the front, and then the timing of that caution during the pit stop cycle that gave William Gunn the opportunity to get the lead, but then hold on and get the win here tonight.
Yeah, that was a very, very, looking at how everything kind of just played out. It all came down to pit stops and just people wrecking. I mean, we had one when it came into the pits, like that was the wreck that happened for Andrew and stuff like that. But basically, every single time that we had yellow was right during the green flag pit stops, but it wasn't during the initial front runners kind of coming in. It was people kind of just trying to get in on the second or third wave, and that was really interesting to see. Usually, you kind of see most of your wrecks happen on the first set of pit stops, because no one knows if they're braking too hard, or coming in too early, or overshooting the gap. So the see people kind of mess up at the very middle or the end of the pit stop cycle, showing you how hard these guys are pushing to get every single bit of time out there on the track.
Yeah, exactly right. So, it was. I say obviously a shorter field here tonight, but again, I mean not short on action here this evening. So we're 2 down. We've got 2 to go. So we've crowned 2 champions. We've got 2 more to go. We'll be doing the Thursday Super Speedway Truck Series next up in just a couple of nights' time, and then finishing off with the Super Speedway Xfinity Series. We'll be crowning 2 Super Speedway champions over there as well. So definitely, as always, Chris, thank you so much for being a part of this and helping me. It's always a lot of fun to do these with you guys. Of course, Boomer, I know you're not here right now, but appreciate you over the course of this season as well. And then, that being said, I know he'll be over there on Thursday with Maxwell calling the shots. And of course, all the viewers and supporters of Green White Checker TV means a ton for us to kind of have the support, the viewership. It wouldn't be taking off like it has without you all. So definitely thank you all as well for that one. So, like I said, we'll be back on Thursday and then finishing up on Sunday. Then we'll take a little bit of a break during the off season and kick it back off again in a few more weeks. So, Chris, again, thank you, sir. Everybody that was watching, thank you all for watching and supporting. And we will see you all again on Thursday night. So stay safe. We'll see you on Thursday.